am out in the Allegheny National Forest, and more precisely in the Allegheny Reservoir. Calling for 80% chance of rain every day this week, and I'm kind of tired of running from the rain, so I think I'm just going to deal with it. I'm going over to the Morrison Campground from the Elijah boat ramp, and it's relatively close, so if the weather does turn, if it gets any severe lightning or anything like that, I can bail if I need to. If this weather changes, maybe I'll move up the lake, paddle up to another campground. But I'm heading over to the campground now. These are first come, first serve. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to find. So hopefully I find something in this campground. Otherwise, I'm going to have to relocate. There's a swing. You can make out the sky. Maybe it's all just washed out, who knows. Either way, it looks the same. It's just clouds, that's all it is. So I'm going to paddle on here for a little bit, see if I can't find myself a nice camp spot where I can set up my hammock, have myself some lunch, and decide what I'm going to do from there. Alright, so I found myself a pretty nice camping spot here. Campsite number 8, am I at? Yeah, number 8. It's got a spot for the hammock. I'm right here by the water, it's only about 30 feet away. Got some protection from the weather from the trees. And there's nobody right next to me, at least yet. There's a couple people in this campsite. There's one guy way down at the other end, and maybe 2 or 3 campsites down there's a family down there, but not so bad. I am hungry though, so I gotta make myself some food. I wanted to get everything set up and ready so I had shelter in case the rain came. So I've got my DIY hammock set up there. It's a little lopsided, but there's not really a flat spot, so the hammock's a little flatter than what that looks, but I'm okay with it. I might have to readjust it, but at least I got shelter if it rains. I'm not gonna go too much in the hammock setup. I've already done that before. Yeah, gonna make some dehydrated chili that I made, and if the weather holds off, I'm gonna get in the kayak and paddle around. I did bring my rain jacket. I brought my spray skirt for the hammock just in case the weather turned. I gotta see if I can scrounge up some firewood. There's not a whole lot of wood laying around here, although it's not really cold, so I'm not too worried about having a fire for warmth, but maybe I'll have something later on. Alright, time to make some food. So I got a little kayaking in, and I was checking out that little stream and start hearing thunder, and now we got that moving in. All part of the adventure, but I don't think that's going to miss us. can see the humidity in the air now. And you look down there and it's not so bad, but you look up that way. So we'll find out. Fastest clouds are moving. Got the kayak all buttoned up on top of the little ledge here. Got the cover on it. Starts right, I guess I'll get in the hammock, just to hang out. And wound up finding my way back, and that was the first time I'd ever been there, so I had no idea. This isn't turning out at all, is it? I'm completely backlit. Oh, this is gorgeous over there. So if you're planning a trip out here to the Allegheny National Forest, and you're thinking about doing a kayak camp out here in the reservoir like I am, it's beautiful. Especially now that it's not raining and the sun's out and got the sunset going here. But there's some things you should know. I watched a few videos before I came out here, and what I saw was guys, well, I shouldn't just say guys, but what I saw was people coming out, finding a spot along shore, setting up camp, finding a primitive campsite, setting up and calling it a night. The National Park Service or the National Forest Service does not want you doing that. They have a very strict 1,500 foot perimeter around the reservoir. 1,500 feet is a long ways. Now I don't know if you can hear the car that's over coming up the Longhouse Road here, but some of these roads you can't camp within 1,500 feet of that road. So that road is within 1,500 feet, and then you gotta go 1,500 feet past that to a primitive camp, or what they call dispersed camping. You're not gonna portage your kayak up there. That would be up on the other side of this hill here. You have to, it's like 3/4 of a mile you have to go. And there's probably another road on the other side. The only place you're allowed to camp around the reservoir is in designated spots, like where I am. There's 4 or 5 of these boat access only campgrounds that have first come first serve sites. There's no reservations on them, and I was able to get a pretty nice site. Pretty happy with it. Walked around, looked at some of the other sites, and not a lot of them had trees, so I got lucky to find that one. And then there's some recreation areas around the lake as well, or around the reservoir, that have reservable sites and some first come first serve. So there's a lot of options. But if they find you out here camping where you're not supposed to, they can throw you out. They can fine you, and who knows what else. I don't know if they can impound your boat. I don't know. So probably not worth getting caught doing that. So I'll stay in my site. The other tip I would give anybody is bring a GPS. I made a mistake once before where I just didn't pay attention to where I was going. I was night kayaking. I was down in Florida. Was listening to dolphins, trying to see if I could see them at night. They were kayaking I was kayaking. They were all around my boat, and I was just listening to them come up and breach, and I could actually hear their sonar in the bottom of my boat. And I got washed out into the Mosquito Lagoon and had no idea where I was. So I was lucky enough, I had my GPS with me. I had waypoint at my campsite, and I started paddling back. My flashlight died. I had a headlamp on, that died. I was almost hitting oyster beds because the tide was going out, and at one point I almost just pulled off and found an empty campsite and just slept on the ground because I didn't know if I was going to be able to find my campsite, but I wound up making it back. But ever since then, I made sure I always have my GPS with me when I'm out here, especially going to a night kayak. It's real easy to lose your sight when you can't see it. Alright, let's go check out this fog. So I've got this fog behind me. Sitting over the edge of the mountain here watching the sunset. Been a good trip. Been a lot of fun so far. Trying to make it back there to the fog and watch the sunset, so I'm gonna paddle it backwards. Luckily it's a big lake, so, or it's not a lake, it's a reservoir. Big body of water. So good morning. I'm going to try this again. I tried doing this before I had my breakfast and my coffee, and it just wasn't working. So, nice night last night. A little bit of rain. It's hard to tell if that was just coming off the trees or if it actually rained. But really peaceful. I was kind of hoping to hear some loons. I hear that every once in a while they get loons out here. But no loonery. Nothing. Not yet, anyway. Looks like it's going to be a little bit nicer day today. It's kind of foggy. But where I can see sky, there's clouds, but it's not horrible. So I'm going to pack up the kayak with a meal for lunch, my rain gear just in case, and go paddle around a little bit and see what we got going on. But, excuse me. Gonna need to level off my hammock a little bit. I showed it yesterday, but as you can see, it's angled a little bit too much. So I kept on sliding down a little bit. But it wasn't that bad. Got about 4:45. Listened to some thunder way off in the distance. Listen to all the birds start to wake up. And I was about ready to get out of the hammock, and all the mosquitoes woke up. And it was so loud. It sounded like someone had a generator or a transformer or something sitting right next to the hammock. It was insane. So I stayed in the hammock for a little while until that dissipated. They flew off wherever they are. Having a really good time so far. This isn't quite as remote as I was hoping it was going to be. There's a lot of boats, and for the middle of the week, there's a lot of people out. But I'm glad to see people out enjoying themselves and, having a good time and being respectful, which is huge. So just leveled off the hammock a little bit. But one of the things I want to add to my tarp are some tie-outs so I can do this. And I've been kind of putting it off. And I'm kind of glad I brought these tarp grabbers with me, because I was able to create a door here, help keep any rain that was blowing in. But these are really doing well. Makes me really, I'm definitely going to add some more tie-outs to this. Probably here, there, maybe one in the middle on both sides. Like here, I've got enough of a pitch out on that side, but if I had to pull it down tighter, I could pull out that center one. So it's raining hard. That may or may not be coming out, but that is coming down in sheets. That is crazy. Trying to stay dry. Trying to stay dry, but this is a lot of water. It just keeps getting worse. The thing that sucks is I gotta pass the ramp where my car's parked to get back to camp. My keys are at camp, so I can't even go hide in my car. So we're on this little cliff. There's these red-winged blackbirds, and they're pulling something out of the cracks and dropping it in the water. I don't know what they're doing. This rain doesn't appear to be stopping, though it has let up quite a bit. So I said that, but I'm all pruny. I'm not going to get any drier sitting by the campsite. I'm already a little wet, so I don't want to get in the hammock, get that wet if it's not by now. So I decided to stay in a boat. Camp is right across the river here. And I decided I would come up here and check out this cove. And if this goes back a little ways, I might get a little protection from the rain under these trees. I know some of you might be watching this and wondering how dangerous it is right now to be out in this weather on the water. I am like listening very closely for thunder, watching for any signs of lightning, and this just appears to be rain. I've seen no signs of lightning or thunder. Yesterday I heard some and I immediately got off the water. I don't want to mess around with lightning. So, rain's rain. Might get wet. Oh well. But yeah, as soon as I hear thunder, even distant thunder, I'm heading back. This will give you a really good idea of how much rain we just got. This is all runoff, and it's just all mud. Give you an idea of what the wind was like when I was out kayaking. The one of the tent stakes got pulled right out. The clip here actually popped off of the tarp. So, but still nylon. I took a pretty good shot from that, and seems to be okay. So let's see if there's how wet the hammock is. Stay dry. So even though my hammock stayed dry and I really wanted to stay, the weather just did not cooperate, with severe thunderstorms forecast for the rest of that day and the following day. In fact, I didn't have enough spare clothes to stay dry through all that. I decided to pack up and leave. The plan was to drive over to Bradford, which is about 25 minutes away, half hour away, and rent a hotel room. And then if the weather broke, head back down to the reservoir, do some more kayaking, maybe get a site for another night. So as luck would have it, there's a museum in town that was having a huge 20th anniversary or 25th anniversary, and then there was another event going on, and basically every hotel room in the town was booked. So I decided to call it a trip and head home, and man, what a trip it was. I know it was only 2 days, but that was a lot of fun. So really looking forward to heading back out to the Allegheny and doing something like that again. Also looking forward to going somewhere a little more remote in the near future, hopefully. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, subscribe, like it, share it. And again, as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.